Hi, I'm Paula Temple. Some of you may remember me. I was in Oxford for about 30 years. I taught at the art department at the University of Mississippi, and now I'm in Marnay-sur-Seine, France. This is where I started out, right here. This was Camac Artist Residency. I was there for a month and really enjoyed this place. It was in the middle of the summer, and as you can see, this is the sun. We would get in the river and swim all the way down and under this bridge and out the ladder on the other side. Beautiful experience. I did a lot of work here, which I'll show you in my studio. And from here, we'll start walking toward my studio. But this charming little town, Marnay-sur-Seine, it started out as an old Roman farming town, fishing village, and now it's a little town of 250 people, of which I think I know most of them. And we have quite a diverse community here. People from Mexico, Poland, England, France, of course, and I'm sure several other places. But anyway, this is my little village, Marnay-sur-Seine. Some people from Oxford have visited me. Anne Fisher-Worth also stayed here at Camac and did an artist residency. We've had Jenny and Ashley Chavis here at our Maison Verte artist residency, which is just around the corner and down the road. And Robert Riggs has visited, Robert and Mary. And Damien Wash came and did a concert in gospel here at our little church. Also, Luke and Amy Fisher were here and did a little house concert at our house. And Millie West was here as a photographer. We have June 21st every year is a music day, where this music celebration here in Camac and all the other little French towns as well in this area. This is our cafe, which unfortunately is closed right now. Now we're coming to the corner of my street, which is Rue de Four, which means the street of the oven in French, and this is Rue de Caritas. This is Tina Klusak, who's from Poland, has established this little bakery here. Notice of what she's making, and there she is anew now, looking at us.
Yeah.
And now we have her making her wonderful bread for tonight.
Exactly.
Yeah. Now we have a wonderful, it smells so good in here. It's too bad you can't smell this on the video. And now it's springtime and everything's coming out. My house is going to be the first one on the left up here. The town covered with flowers all the time. That's my Ariel rose. I think in the background you might hear some music that may seem familiar to you. My husband, even Baron-Robbins, knows we're coming. Put your baby in there. Ancient Roman goddess or something that was already there when we moved in, and somebody, the art historian, went, "Whoa, that belongs in a museum." So I don't know where it came from or anything, but it's supposed to be sort of a goddess of the home. This is the first part of the house, and then it continues on in there with the dining room and a kitchen, and we have bedrooms upstairs. Some of this work may seem familiar. A lot of it I've done here. Obviously, I've been inspired by the birds and flowers and so on, and especially the color. But I've also I went through so much of my work before I left, because we came in a 10 by 10 by 20 foot trailer, basically, a container, a small container, which mainly had our artwork, musical instruments, a few bits of furniture, and some clothes. And that was it. But after going through a lot of my work and seeing what I've done, I go back and look at a lot of my older pieces. I mean, way back, as early as 1966. And then try to incorporate them into works that I'm doing right now. For example, this is an etching that I did in 1966. When I was like 18 years old, I think. It was an etching. I incorporated that into this painting right here. A lot of people call me, here especially too, an expressionist, surrealist. My work is more surreal than it's ever been. And again, with all of the flowers and color around me, it does inspire my paintings. Also, in Marnay, we have a Jardin Botanique. It's a botanical garden here. It's closed right now. Hopefully it'll be open in May. And it's been here for about 20 years or more. The botanical garden is quite beautiful.
And siya ka?
No, too big. Yeah,
He's a little shy.
yes.
Okay. We're going away on a little
Yes.
go. Say bye-bye, Shakan. Say bye-bye. Okay.
And oh yeah, this is what I call my quiet painting. And it was actually inspired by an old church I visited in an old village near here. Okay, you may recognize this. That's one of Obie Clark's pieces. I actually brought it from Oxford here. But, this is a piece I did while I was here. Actually, I brought a lot of my figure drawings with me. I taught figure drawing for 20, 30 years at Ole Miss, and I have hundreds of my figure drawings I use for reference all the time. And a lot of these came into view in these red figures here, and in this one right here, this particular piece. And in here, this is my dining room and little kitchen here. I've had to adjust from a big house to a small house, which is just fine. This one's actually quite low maintenance compared to the house I had in Oxford. And most Americans, when they come in, they're astounded by the size of my refrigerator. It's a small refrigerator, but that's all right. We don't need a large refrigerator. We don't have a dishwasher. We don't have a dryer, but we do have a washing machine. You really find out you don't really need a lot of these things. This is one I did in Costa Rica.
Huh.
It was a shop that was selling baskets. I used to do a lot of study abroad programs, and one of them was in Costa Rica. This is my garden in the back. Here, look at these roses. These have just come out. And look at the yellow roses. That. I really haven't had to do much to keep everything up. We have some fish. We have 6 fish. And 1 frog. There we are. And we have a frog here too. I don't know where the frog is. Okay. In the middle of what right now. This is my studio window. And this is the storage area. It's pretty cold in here too. This is sort of our garage right now. These are some of my larger pieces that are down here. I think a couple of these were done when I was at Kamat. These two. That's an older piece. This is some of my reworked pieces. I'll explain in a minute. Some of my swimmers in the sun. This is a painting I did years ago. I was never, ever quite happy with it. And I've pretty much redone it. And this is the redo of it. about the only thing that remained the same was the birds. And this is what it is right now. As Kinga was working on her bakery, there was lots of ladders out, lots of activity, and I meant to change it just a little bit, and it really changed a lot. Having the freedom to do all of this has been wonderful. Oh, let's lift my hands. But anyway, this is upstairs. I've got a brace on my right knee because it's been hurting. But this is where all my work is done. Right up here. This is a series I did on the, when I go to museums. I do a lot of museums in Paris, and at the Arts and Métiers Museum, there's this large Foucault pendulum, which is amazing. And I did this particular piece from that, and I did a whole series actually on that pendulum. And this is another piece that was done on a faceless disc, which is an ancient piece. I think it's the original piece is about this big, and it's a clay tablet with these really undecipherable, unknown letters or images or markings in them. Nobody can read it. Nobody knows what it means. But I did a piece which originally this was spinning around and all of the letters are kind of falling off, but this is a watercolor. This room, when the previous owner showed me this room, we were looking at his house, it was a bedroom for his son. There was a bed over here and a TV set and stereo equipment and all kinds of stuff in here. And I know he asked me what would I do with this room, because it's sort of a tragic situation. His son had died. I think he was fairly young. He was in his 30s, I believe. And he asked me what I would do with this room, and I said I'd make a painting studio out of it. Well, I had been here working in the artist residencies a couple of times, and so they kind of knew I was an artist and knew what to expect. And they thought it was great, so I've made it into a studio now. This is a new piece, another Fortuna series, Fortuna and the Wheel of Fortune. Another small piece up there on it. She's guiding this Wheel of Fortune, and a lot of bodies are falling off. This started out, I kept saying I want to do something simple, and of course it got more and more complex with a lot of print images that I did of bay leaves that I printed on top of it, as well as rose pieces and things. These are, I did a series on Persephone or Persephone. And these are some of the pieces from there. There's one over there. There's a bunch here. I mean, it's got, look at that. This is where I keep all my tools. And I think they're originally made for fishing. People used to put all their fishing stuff in here. And I get them at Barruecos for about €2 or €3. And look at this one. This one's even better. See, pencils here. Then I open up the next drawer. More pencils. Some are wax-based, some are water-based. Yep, those are I think those are my water-based ones. And it goes, drawing tools. You haven't seen these? These are great. And then these are other stuff. These are the older pieces. Those are some of the pieces that I did of the river. Those were exhibited at the Beaux-Arts Gallery at one time in 2014, I believe. Yeah. This is one thing I've been working on too since I've been here, is archiving all of my work. I've had to put in 3 books because there's so much now. But simply by doing a small picture and an explanation of what's going on here. That sort of what these things were, sort of where they came from. I mean, even this video is going to be an archival piece. Like, this is one of the pieces you saw in the house. But this is, I have to go along. I mean, if they sell, great. But I don't really work for sale right now. I just work to do good work. One of my ideas when people said, you know, what are you doing? I said, I'm really trying to do good painting. Just good painting. So that's where I'm at. And this is a piece I'm redoing as well. This was a piece that was done in 2012, and I've been reworking it pretty seriously, especially the figurative work. The figure in that middle, the large figure in the middle, is pretty well stayed there, but the rest of them have been really reworked. Pretty heavily. That's pretty much where I am. Now I'm staying here. I mean, I've got my house here. I'm living here. I feel comfortable here. I've got a lot of good friends here. And I go back and visit now and then, but I'm here and I'm happy. So come visit if you like.
And what did you hear, my blue-eyed son? And what did you hear, my darling young one? I heard the sound of thunder, it roared out a warning.
After you're gone, if it hasn't been sold or if it hasn't been collected by anybody, you wonder what's going to happen to it. Every artist wonders that. Everybody worries about that.
Who died in the gutter? Heard the sound of a clown who cried in the alley.
Doesn't matter.
And it's a heart, it's a heart, it's a heart, it's a heart.
But after I'm gone, Ariel's going to have to come in here and deal with it all.
Donna, 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 Donna.